Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Mafia, the old country reviews. And is PlayStation really going to keep making live service games? It's going to be a good one because we have Jan Ochoa on the show. Jan, how are you doing?
The thing I forgot, Grub, is that migraine medication, at least Excedrin, has caffeine in it, so
Ooh.
it probably shouldn't take it past 5 p.m.
Ooh, okay. So it helps the migraines, but then keeps you awake, and then you're sleepy the next day. How are you feeling? You know, the kids are worried about you.
Generally broken already, Grub, but
Same.
it's like someone had stepped on the broken glass and then forgot to take their shoes off. I'm not sure which part of me I am in the metaphor here.
Maybe all of it.
But we're hanging and clanging, Grub. We're here. We're out here. We're getting back into the swing of things. Yeah. We're here.
Yeah, we are here for sure. I'm glad to hear about the hanging and or clanging. That's always a good thing. How are you doing otherwise? Like, okay, so when you are like in this situation, because I've never had migraines.
Oh, good for you.
Is
Grub.
there anything you could do to like? Okay, we got a little under control. Maybe I can go read a book. Honestly, everything sounds like it could be something that would lead back to the migraine.
So, migraines, it's the various spectrum of like triggers and
Yeah.
stuff, and what ails folks. I particularly have like a lot of light sensitivity.
Right.
So, and that's not just flashing lights. That's not just like a bright light shining in my face. That's like a screen, or that's particularly blue, or like a really bright light source outside the window. So I kind of have to retreat into the darkest corner of my apartment. And
Sure.
I don't know if this actually helps, but every time I've had a migraine in the last couple of years, I will put on sound canceling headphones and go on YouTube and search up this migraine relief 3-hour mix. And I'm not sure it
Yeah.
works. And I think it
No.
is all like a placebo effect telling me it's working. But I will just sit there
Same
in a
thing.
corner and just like, this is healing me. This
Yeah.
is good. But the other problem is like its scents will like trigger it as well. So like if there's like a candle going off, or even if it's food,
Oh.
it'll just be like too much for whatever reason. So sometimes I will literally have to like sit in a bathtub and isolate myself for a couple hours.
Yeah, we were talking about that rice versus peace and love, like what you do for an injury, and like rice was, rest,
Ice,
ice, yeah,
elevate.
compression, elevate, and then peace and love is like protect, elevate. There's a bunch of them in there, but one of them eventually you get to love, and one of them is optimism, and that's a big part of like the placebo effect and like listening to stuff and just believing things can help. Like just being in that positive mindset really does actually make a difference to healing or to dealing with pain. So yeah, like placebo effect or not, you got to just try stuff and believe it can work. Hope everything bounces back quick for you, Jan. Let's explain ourselves. And as far as Giant Bomb goes, we're Giant Bomb. We make fun stuff. We make cool stuff. You can help us do that. Go to giantbomb.com/join. Become a premium member. It goes a long way towards ensuring we continue to do these things, and you all have a home for independent games media on the internet. Although we got a new companion in that club today. A Digital Foundry was able to buy themselves back from IGN. Shout out to the boys over there. Very, very proud of them for that. That rules. Again, that's giantbomb.com/join. Help us out. We really appreciate it. Gets you ad-free shows. Get you some extra goodies. As far as this show goes, most weekdays Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with those Mafia, the old country reviews are in. Not a lot of them. Actually,
Ooh.
checked out Open Critic. It was like 16 reviews worldwide so far tracked. There's probably going to be more coming soon. And a lot of those were from, European sites, things I hadn't heard of a bunch before. Not that that means anything. But it has a 79 on Open Critic right now, or at least at the time that I put this here into the doc. And Jake Decker over at
Oh,
GameSpot.
hey, Jakey.
Shouts out to yeah, we love you, Jakey. 6 out of 10 from Jake, and he said, "Mafia: The Old Country uses its stunning setting to tell a familiar story about loyalty and family that's propped up by its cast of characters." WCCF text Alessio Palumbo, excuse me, gave it an 8 out of 10 and said, "Mafia: The Old Country aims squarely at being a narrative experience and largely succeeds in that while also providing solid gameplay. It is a bit of a shame that we don't get to truly explore Sicily in this game, but if you're into Mafia narratives, this is among the best you can find in games, and the entry price isn't that high either." Ami Kulas at Checkpoint Gaming gave it an 8.5 out of 10 and said, "At first, Mafia: The Old Country swept me up straight away. Its stunning world, compelling story, and rich sense of place felt like an Italian holiday. As I played on, the simplicity of its combat and stealth stood out more. But that's not what I valued most. Not the most inventive action game, but one of the most immersive you'll play this year. This is a leaner and more focused Mafia game that trades scale for storytelling and world building, and in doing so delivers something quietly special." You know what this sounds like to me, Jan? It sounds like a game that was made with a reduced scope, and that was like a marching order, like get a game that we can put out in a handful of years.
Yeah.
And so it was an open world. They focused on the narrative, they focused on the characters, and it sounds like it's good for what it was going for. It sounds like they nailed exactly what they were going for. Now, maybe the gameplay is a bit too simple. I saw that echoed in maybe some other reviews, even that the gameplay is mediocre at best in some cases. Some people like it more. But hearing that, the story, the setting, the visuals all hit real hard, I think that's going to go a long way for a game like this. What do you think?
Yeah, I unfortunately have this association with Mafia. I've never really explored any of those games, but I have this association with Mafia kind of hovering around this review range, right?
Yeah.
Not quite a B game, not quite an A game, kind of like B plus to A minus tier of like budget and scope. And for all intents and purposes, we don't have a GTA 6 coming out in like the next couple of weeks or whatever. So this game doesn't really quite have too much competition in the style of game that it's aiming to do. Mind's Eye didn't eat Mafia's lunch.
No.
So it's great to hear that it is completely okay in folks that are looking to get back into Mafia, or folks that just, I don't know, want to explore this crime genre, have something to tie them over until GTA.
Yeah, and there's definitely plenty of mob media out there, and it's I think there is one thing to be said for trying to build an open world where people can explore a time setting. That is what the previous Mafia games did, but I never loved that. It was never great. The fact these games have always been mid. They've always been pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
So them being like, you know what, let's reduce the amount of exposure we have to that stuff that we can never really pull off, and maybe by ratio increase the amount of stuff that we have that was good, which is the setting and the characters, and apparently in this game the way it looks. Then yeah, that sounds like a good recipe for getting a slightly better version of Mafia. This is not going to, I don't think it's going to win any awards. I don't think it's going to be maybe anyone's game of the year, but I bet it's going to surprise a handful of people who pick it up because they hear, well, maybe this is for me. And I bet quite a few people will be really happy with the game. I haven't seen anyone say how long it is. If it's like 10 to 12 hours, I might try to play this, Jan.
Yeah.
If it's longer than that, I don't think I can justify it, but I might start it up if it's around that long.
Funny enough, Grubb, I think everything about this game really is in the title. Mafia: The Old Country, instead of focusing on a giant open world, it's just like a little bit of Sicily, a little bit of
just a bit of Sicily. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, mechanized. It could win a BAFTA. Yeah, I guess it could.
I don't know how
performances or whatever.
Work.
Yeah, me neither. I think Ben Starr just gets them. I think at this point.
Good for him.
Yeah, he deserves it. All right, let's keep moving right along here. PS5 sales reach 80 million worldwide in latest milestone. This is from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. Business is once again booming for Sony as the company announced that lifetime sales of the PS5 console have reached 80.3 million units shipped as of June 30th, 2025. This new figure comes from Sony's quarterly results for its current financial year, with the company adding that 2.5 million consoles were shipped during the 3-month period, an increase of 100,000 when compared to the same period during the previous financial year. That's good news, I think, for them to be like that they can, this is shipped, not sold, but still that those numbers are related. Hearing that it's like, oh, it's actually going up a little bit from last year. There was, I think last year it was kind of down year over year, if I'm remembering correctly. If not, it was pretty flat. So them being able to get more in the channel and have the confidence that they're going to be able to sell them, I think that makes it sound like, oh, you know what, PS5 in a very good place. Let's continue along here. The PlayStation Network has also grown, with Sony reporting that the subscriber number has increased to 123 million users. I don't know if I think that's okay. Yeah, PlayStation Network. I don't know if that's subscribers a subscriber number. I think that's
Okay.
people who are actively using PlayStation Network in one way or another, and that would include people signing into PSN to play a game on Steam or something like that. But it's 123 million active users compared to last year's number. During the same quarter, that number has grown by 7 million. They're saying subscribers. Maybe it is subscribers, but that's
Okay.
I think that seems pretty high to me. And the games department, PS5 and PS4 software reached a combined total of 65.9 million copies sold, an increase of 12.3 million units year on year. First-party games counted for 6.9 million and raised an increase, a rise of 900,000 compared to last year. The future of game sales is also looking increasingly digital, as Sony says that 83% of software sales were digital downloads. Okay, yeah. So the overall, and I read some more on the PlayStation results. It's doing very well.
Yeah.
Their operating income was up like something like 100% or something, like doubled their operating income from last year. So profits are way up. Growth is up. They're just kind of hitting on all cylinders, and some of these numbers are from when the Switch 2 launched. Not that I think anyone was really expecting the Switch 2 to come in there and butt heads with PlayStation. They are kind of on parallel paths, not necessarily intersecting with one another too much. But hey, no, the system's doing very well. It does make me wonder, like we go back a lot to PlayStation is making choices because they're worried about growth. They are seeing growth, and I don't feel like that growth is because they've made desperate decisions to go in the direction of live service games, although we'll talk about that in a second. It just seems like people are happy with their PlayStation and are buying them to play video games. Does
Yeah.
that sound right to you?
I think, Grub, if I was not in this field and I was just kind of doing some increased amount of research from like the normies, parentheses not derogatory, I think the PlayStation side of things with with consoles, this is also barring looking at a Switch 2, because Switch 1, Switch 2 always feels like such a specific case. But if you're going to decide between a console right now, between a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, I'd probably go for a PlayStation 5. Sometimes that's where friend groups are skewing towards. The
Definitely.
exclusives are going to. And now, with Xbox games, and we talked about it either last week or 2 weeks ago, where the top selling PS5 games are all Xbox games. Why bother getting an Xbox at this point? Especially if you
Yep.
just have to wait a little bit for that exclusivity window to close up, and then you can get Indiana Jones, you can get Forza, you can get Grounded 2, Grounded 1. It seems like, why not get a PlayStation 5 if you were itching to get a console, or upgrade to get a console?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. Chat's helping us out here. That 123 million number, 124, yeah, 123 million number. That does sound like monthly active users. So just people who are touching PlayStation Network in any way. As far as what you were saying, Jan, yeah, you know what? Maybe that's what this is. Maybe this growth that PlayStation is seeing is a little bit of the effect of people being like, oh man, I like my Xbox. I was an Xbox person, but I'm kind of not seeing the point of continuing to invest in that platform long term. Maybe I should just make the tough choice. And now even more people are defaulting to PlayStation as their home for games. Someone else chat says getting a PlayStation 5 as a, quote unquote casual, not not a pejorative, is going to be a system that will get you most good games eventually, one way or the other, whether they
Yeah.
are PlayStation games, third party games that are going to be there day one, or now Xbox games that will be there within 6 months, in some cases 3 months, in some cases less than that. So it does feel like that is having an effect on PlayStation sales in a positive way. So maybe once again, yes, the overall pool of people playing console games is not blowing up and growing, and so Sony's still concerned about that maybe, and at the same time they are taking a bigger piece of the existing pie, and that's doing really well for them. That is probably the correct summation of what's happening, right?
Yeah, that's my assumption as well. I mean, even talking to my normie friends, again, not derogatory, they have all gotten and upgraded to like a PS5 Pro, just because like that
Really?
is, yeah, it was astounding to me. And they had assumed I had made that jump a long time ago, but I had to break the news that I myself barely turn on my PS5, but that's
Yeah,
because I have a PC that I use to play
right.
games, right? But
I guess that makes sense. If you're not playing PC, a PS5 Pro suddenly becomes like, yeah, that's where I'm playing games all the time. It makes some sense to me. Sure.
exactly, and so there are folks that have said this in the chat. Um, there are people that will never touch a PC, no matter
Right.
how easier it has gotten over the last couple years. You have something like a Steam Deck. You have so many gaming PCs, gaming laptops readily available now, even at Costco's pre-builts. People will still never touch them. They just prefer the plug and play aspect of a console. And some stuff is scary on a PC still. I don't know what a BIOS is.
I
Um,
I am setting up my one of my old PCs for Emmy because she's reached the point of Minecraft where now she'll play Minecraft, she'll go watch a Minecraft video. Minecraft
mm,
YouTuber will be like, "Hey, I'm installing this mod and I'm doing all these things." Then she comes to me, "How do I do this?" And I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know if Bedrock can do that. We might have to be playing Java." And then she's like, "Well, what is that?" And now it's like, okay, well, let's go get a PC. So I got one of my older desktops. It was actually the NZXT H1, the one that was catching on fire. Don't
mm.
worry, everybody. I did the fix for it, so it's not going to catch on fire. So I put that in her room, and we're setting it up, and we're installing Windows. And I'm like, I got to update Windows. She's like, Windows? I doesn't that suck? Because she always hears me complaining about it. So, yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be. She's gonna be like one of the kids in her class with a gaming PC. That is still gonna be a pretty rare thing. I think it's aspirational for like young kids, but I think of anyone who's older who did not get into PC gaming at some point in their life,
Yeah.
it's just a hassle in a lot of cases. So PlayStation 5 solves a lot of that.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many aspects of like my friends growing up that had so much friction to getting a PC that they completely skipped going down that pipeline and wound up getting like a Mac because of how, I don't want to say console ish it is, but like how,
Very closed garden. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
closed garden, and how less they have to worry about the miscellaneous things on the internet other than what they partake in.
Yep.
But that's super cool about the gimmick getting into Java Minecraft. That's the real
Yeah,
stuff.
the real stuff. We're gonna probably be subscribing to some Patreons to get some cool mods for that game or something. Yeah, it's fun to see, and it's like I was like, the kids they're gonna be too young for phones really in any real way for a long time. But a desktop PC, now that's real shit. I do want my kids to be the ones that grow up with desktop PCs. So fun to set that up.
Grub,
All right.
how
Oh
long
yeah,
do
go
you
ahead.
think it's going to take for the gimmick to go from Java Minecraft to Valorant?
Yeah, see, I'm worried. Is she gonna? And I need to get into those. Well, she is asking about Among Us a lot, and
Oh,
so I'm like, I need to like set up a play date where the community comes hangs out and like plays nice with my kids, and we all play Among Us or something. Because I don't know if how like I can try to get her cousins to do it, but that would be me running, support to get everybody in the same room and on this, like in the, we'll get all their devices connected together remotely for their cousins that are in another state. And I'm like, that's such a hassle. I need people that just know what they're doing. So I think we are on the pathway, but I think by the time like she's 8 now, I think by the time she's 11 or 12, we'll be in Valorant or Counter Strike or something. Not long after that. So 3 to 4 years.
here we go.
All right, let's stick with these PlayStation results. Sony CFO says its live service shift is, quote, not entirely going smoothly, but pledges to carry on and learn from mistakes. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. And I think this is like interesting to see to hear how they break this down. Sony's chief financial officer says the company will learn from its live service failures. In a Q&A session following the company's latest financial results, One Caller asked its panel of executives for an update on the current status of PlayStation's live service plan and where it sees the issues when it comes to improving its live service games. Sony CFO Lin Tao replied that despite the negativity surrounding Sony's live service offerings, thanks to the issues with Concord and Marathon, Concord came and went and they had to pull the plug on it, big like $200 million loss, and then Marathon got delayed. She still believes, and we'll have more to say on Marathon here in a second as well. She still believes that live service games are worthwhile because they've added a revenue stream that didn't exist for the company 5 years ago. Last year, Concord shut down, and this year, Marathon was postponed. So somewhat negative news has been coming out, Tao said. But if we look at the past 5 years ago, live service games were almost non-existent for PlayStation Studios. We now have Helldivers 2, MLB The Show, and Gran Turismo 7, and Bungie's Destiny 2. So we have these 4 live services contributing to sales and profits in a stable manner. Tao had earlier noted that during Sony's results presentation that live service games accounted for around 40% of first-party software revenue for the past quarter, and cited this again in her reply. For Q1, the live service ratio was about 40% for the full year. It's a little less, probably between 20 to 30%, she said. So in terms of the transformation, it's not entirely going smoothly, but from a longer-term perspective, if you look at the changes over 5 years, you see that there's definitely been a change. And there's a couple things here, Jan, that I think that number is undeniable. 40% of the revenue from the last quarter, undeniable. At the same time, this whole thing has always felt like them looking at a number and working backward and being like, oh, okay, this is what the live service is doing for someone else. Look at that big number. Here's what it's starting to do for us. We need more of that. So everyone, we need this number to grow. Go make games that way. And that's why developers like Bin Studios and Bluepoint and all these other ones internally, when they're pitching internally to try to get their games greenlighted, they were pitching live service games thinking that's the way to get money inside of Sony, and they were right. And now that has led them into this mess where those games I mentioned, the Bin Studio game was canceled.
Yeah.
The Bluepoint game, which was supposedly a God of War game, that was also canceled, right? Mm-hmm. So there's been more issues than just Marathon and Concord. And at the same time, you can't deny the number. So where does this all leave your feelings about PlayStation and their live service efforts?
Grubb, this still feels very Delulu.
Yes.
Where, yes, on the spreadsheet, and you look at a specific column, it is undeniable the amount of profit that is coming from live service games. But as you mentioned, Concord cost how much? And now that's canned, and all these other projects.
200 million, I guess, around there, yeah.
200 million, and all these other projects that may never, ever see the light of day, or we may never, ever hear of, that are getting canceled. Those cost money. Those cost time. Those cost labor. And that has to tick away at the positive number on that spreadsheet as well. Like, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not a money guy. But I have to assume that if you are earning X, but Y is really bad, that takes away from X being in the green or the black or whatever. And none of this feels sustainable at all. It is 100% like what you said, Grubb, of they see this number and they want to work backwards from it, not thinking about any sustainable practices in terms of labor, in terms of even an audience perspective. Like, now, anytime a multiplayer game comes out of Sony or has Sony published attached to it, it's going to have that Concord stink on it. There's no way. Like, and also with we're going to get to Marathon in a second, but I can't help but think now with Marathon, is this going to be canceled in 2-3 weeks, just like Concord was? Or what is the next thing?
It feels possible, right?
It feels very possible. Like, nothing feels like a safe bet from Sony. Right. If it is like a multiplayer-focused live service thing. Even, I'm not super tuned into Destiny 2 right now, but I feel like Destiny 2 has had its major ups and downs from, like, being on the outside of that audience. It feels like the downs have kind of been, like, lower and lower lately versus up.
Yep. Yeah, and it's, I think that's all relative because it's like it seems like that Destiny 2 needed to kind of keep going way up even as they were changing the way that they were doing updates. and it's kind of just like it's doing all right. I think people like Destiny 2 still for sure,
Yeah.
but the Destiny 2 freaks that were in my life, hi Christian, they're not like talking about Destiny 2 the way they ever once were for sure. We mentioned a bunch of stuff there. Didn't even mention Fair Games was another one that got delayed, right? And
Yeah.
Jade Raymond left, and there's problems across the board. Now, the second half of that headline was they pledged to carry on and learn from their mistakes. They are saying they're going to keep doing this and that they want to learn from all these mishaps. I just, Jane, I think the issue with that is that no one ever fucking learns from these things, right? At least
No.
not until they go through it themselves. And we're like, well, this is all Sony, right? So they are going through it themselves. Not like that. The specific team, the specific people on these teams have to go through the experience. And this is just me speculating, but it feels this way because we've seen it repeated over and over again. That the specific people making these games have to go through the experience of making a live service game to like learn what it requires from them.
Hmm.
And even when you do that, you have a studio like Bungie that's like they did it with Destiny 1, and then Destiny 2 came out, and they had some of the same problems, a lot of new problems they couldn't predict. And they've been working those out for years and years and years and finding new ones all the time. So it just live service just seems like such a herding of cats, like because you have this subscriber base or this player base that is just coming in spending money regularly, and they have a relationship with the game, and you have to sort of like figure out how to contain those emotions and funnel them towards spending money on your game, and that's so complicated that you can't help but make mistakes every single time. So learn from the ones you've made for sure, but that I don't think that they're going to suddenly start making fewer of them.
Yeah, Grub, and also like these mistakes, they're not gonna hurt these C-level people. It's going to
Hasn't
hurt
so far.
everyone lower on the ladder, unfortunately, and we've already seen that happen. Um, one of the peculiar things in this interview is that Lin Tao mentions that Gran Turismo is a live service game, and MLB the show is a live service game. When I don't.
So the show's gonna have that like Ultimate Team stuff, right? The Ultimate Team stuff is in
Oh,
every
okay,
sports game, and the show has a big one of those, and it's like the baseball game, so I think it does
got it.
pretty well. Gran Turismo, I bet they sell a lot of skins. I guess I don't know. I have not paid attention to that, but
Yeah, sure.
sure. All right, sticking with the Sony CFO's comments. Sony CFO promises Marathon will launch this fiscal year. This is from Ben Lyons at Game Reactor. Bungie has had a rough go of it with Marathon, as the live project was expected to arrive as soon as this September. But early fan and community impressions were particularly poor, leading the Destiny creator to delay the game indefinitely for the time being. It has been a couple of months since the delay announcement came about, an update that even surprised the devs. And while there has been no firm information about what we can or when we can expect Marathon, Sony's chief financial officer has commented on the game in a Q&A call following the unveiling of the recent financial report, which affirmed that 80 million PS5s have been sold. After translation via an interpreter, CFO Lin Tao touched on Marathon by promising that the game will launch in this fiscal year, meaning we can expect to be playing the title before the end of March 2026. So, okay. I mean, the thing felt like it got delayed, or maybe they explicitly said it, but it felt like it got delayed because those reactions were so poor.
Hmm.
It was not, it was kind of creating, at best, like even buzz, kind of negative buzz in a lot of ways coming out of those play tests. And the idea would be like, okay, they got to rework a lot of this. They're not going to be able to rework anything in that amount of time. It's just going to be some polish here or there. What are your hopes and dreams for the possibilities of Marathon being a success?
Grub, I feel bad for the folks working on Marathon, just because it seems like they're stepping on rakes that other people threw out into the yard left and right. Um, on top of all of the woes of it being poorly received in terms of like playing the game, there's also all of the AI art theft happening, or just general art plagiarizing happening
Yep.
surrounding Marathon as well. So if Marathon wasn't already facing an uphill battle um, after the launch and failure of Concord, now they're just climbing up a greasy ladder at this point. Um,
Yeah.
and I want to see them pull it off. I just don't think I had any real interest in playing the game just because I don't feel the need or the draw to play an extraction shooter. This definitely would have been a game that we'd play on a stream, and I think, wow, that was really fun. It looked really cool. Never going to touch this again.
Yep. Yeah. This is an extraction shooter. There are other options out there, more established ones that I know will stick around. And I think, again, we're talking about having relationships with these games. You kind of want to like, okay, I'm going to begin investing my time, probably money,
Hmm.
and maybe try to invest my friends' time into these games. I might start convincing them to want to play with me. Am I going to want to do that for a game that I'm not certain is going to be a going concern for an extended period of time? Probably not. So it's like these games start to get into these death spirals where the taint and the stank gets on them, and you can't scrub them off, and really that just helps it grow faster and faster.
Yeah.
Uh, can Marathon overcome that? Sure. If it comes out and it's just baller, awesome, fun to play, I
Hell
think
yeah.
it stands a puncher's chance, right? It could come out and just knock us out, and that's it. And the game is game of the year contender and all this stuff. It just doesn't feel like we're anywhere close to that right now.
No, not at all. And I see folks in the chat talking about how Halo Infinite was able to pull it off after getting delayed and that delay being massive. But I think where Halo Infinite and Marathon are different is that Halo is like a household name versus Marathon. And sure, Marathon is like an older game and older than Halo, but how many people have been clamoring for another Marathon versus have the familiarity of exploring or checking out another Halo title?
Yeah, it's well, again, we'll see. Well, this game coming out before the end of March, they're going to have to reintroduce it here in the next several months and try to change the story. So they also have to figure that out. I just don't look for, or I don't envy them the position that they're in and having to figure that all out.
I also, we will say that folks that check out extraction shooters are a very niche audience, but that niche audience still is very big, but they tend to find the game that works and stick with that versus.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, most of those extraction shooters aren't the AAA kind. They are like the AA or like completely indie out of left field or games
Out
that
of
have been
nowhere
around
games.
for like 10 years.
Yep, exactly. And it's it feels like that space solidified very fast. There's a spectrum of the way that these genres solidify. Where like auto chess, you were in the heart of that, I think, a little bit, and it was
Oh.
and that was like a gold rush that was never a real gold rush. There was three that got made very fast, and then a bunch of others from a bunch of other studios. Those three kind of battled it out, and then at the end, it seemed like Teamfight Tactics ended up taking the crown there.
Yeah.
And now that gold rush was over in a blink of an eye. And then there's MMOs where it's like, oh, people are going to keep trying it and slowly realize it's just going to be a World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, a handful of others. It does feel like for extraction shooters, it's somewhere in between those two where you could try to chase a trend. Maybe you could make some money doing this, but the reality is it feels like the choices have already been made.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like I don't think it's going to be like Battle Royale, where it's like, we think this is done. And then Apex Legends comes along and it was able to get 50 million players in a couple of weeks. It's like that was a very different time, very different thing.
Yeah.
And I don't expect that to be repeated by extraction shooters.
It's also so hard, Grub, for these bigger publishers and bigger developers to be as agile as like a 1 to 20 person team. Like it was wild to see Slay the Spire blow up and then to see so many Slay the Spire clones come out. And then we're
Yeah.
seeing the same exact thing happening with Balatro right now. I was playing like a demo for a dice game last night where like the background was that same like wobbly, warbly
Yeah, of course.
background as Balatro, but
Uh
now
huh.
with dice. And you know what? I was all in on it.
Of course.
But it is easier for those smaller teams to take that idea and spin it into something else versus a gigantic behemoth. Or unless unless you're Fortnite. Fortnite could pull it off. Whatever.
Right. Yeah. Fortnite is going to have Balatro here pretty soon, I'm sure. Yeah, you're right that they're like, because that's just old school game development. That's just ladies and gentlemen in their garages making a game because they were inspired by another game, and they're like, can I do this? Can I try to take these ideas? I just want to play around with these ideas. I'm so inspired. And then they end up making something that builds off of that, slightly different, but clearly you could see the inspiration. And we all just go like, yeah, that's Doom clones, that's Maze games based off Pac-Man, that's Pong games going back to that, and then going all the way back to a Space War and Computer Space and all those games at the very beginning. It's when we start talking about $200 million games chasing trends, it's like, oh no, that's too much money to put into something that is going to be following someone else. They already have all that money. If you want to do this for $2 million, maybe you can make that work. I don't even know if that's possible. All right, let's take a break. We're going to go to the ad. You can get an ad-free version of the show by going to giantbomb.com/join. You didn't do that, though, so here is this. We'll be right back. This episode of Giant Bomb is brought to you by giantbomb.com/join. Join us there, become a member. It helps us make fun stuff. It gets you ad-free content. It also helps us make some extras here and there that we'll give exclusively to you as members. It's giantbomb.com/join for $10 a month or $100 a year, where you save $20. You can support us in making all the cool stuff that we make over here at Giant Bomb. Once again, that's giantbomb.com/join. Become a member now. Welcome back, Game Mess Mornings. Jeff Grubb, Jan Ochoa. There was a Nintendo Indie World Showcase this morning at 6 a.m. your time. I'm sure you were up, and I just didn't let you in the room to do it with us, Jan. I was like, no, go back to bed. This is from Michael Kripe at IGN, who has a roundup of the announcements. Let's hit them. There was 18 of them. Mina the Hollower unearths new Switch and Switch 2 demo. The demo is out today for Switch 2 and Switch 1. The game, as we know, was coming October 31st. That includes the Nintendo Switch versions. Well Dweller, reveals Crypt Custodian dev's next adventure. You'll fire a slingshot, jump through hordes of bees, and battle a giant nightmarish creature in Well Dweller, the next game from Crypt Custodian developer Kyle Thompson. It's out in 2026. Neverway is a gorgeous pixel art kind of life sim farming game that's also out in 2026. That's one that really got Mike. He really liked the way that looked. Herdling, which I'm qualifying as a farming game, even though it's a herding game. It's coming out August 21st, and you play as a person with a staff, and you got to herd some mystical beasts across the land. And I was like, ooh, this is doing something to my primal urges. I want to go herd some shit. Is This Seat Taken is coming to Switch as well. This is one of the games you talked about on the Bombcast this week, right, Jan? Is This Seat Taken?
No.
Was this not you? Someone brought this up, and Mike mentioned it was you. I'm like, I heard about it somewhere, and I can't remember where.
You guys are just attributing all sorts of games to me now.
Yeah, well, most games that I don't understand are Jan games now. The trailer reveals Wholesome Puzzler is out on Nintendo Switch today, so you can get Is This Seat Taken today. It's that game where you're telling shapes where they can sit on a bus, which I don't think is problematic. That's fine. Little Kitty Big City is getting even bigger. There's going to be an update later this year. I actually forgot it was later this year and told my kids it's out now. So they were trying to play it, and they're like, "Where is it, Dad? I want to customize my cat," which is one of the things you could do in this update. It's not out yet, kids. You're gonna have to wait till later this year. Let's see. Content warning is coming to Switch and Switch 2.
Oh.
Landfall Games' viral co-op centered horror game. Content warning will finally make the jump to console when it comes to Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 sometime in 2026. A first look trailer was shown during the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. And Mike made the really good point of, content warning is the one with the circles on for faces, and you sort of put emotes or emoticons on there to make your face. What if you just replace that with the game chat camera, and we can see our faces on those things? Listen. I don't know if I'm going to play content warning on the Switch. If they did that, I'm playing content warning on the Switch. That sounds awesome. I hope they're able to do that, but they did not show off anything along those lines. Ball Pit is a brick breaking game for the Switch and Switch 2. It's from Devolver Digital and Kenny Sun and Friends. It's a survival roguelike is the underlying genre there. That's out October 15th, with a Switch 2 version set to come out this fall.
Oh yeah,
Ultimate Sheep. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I just remember seeing this and being very hyped about it.
It looks really cool. So does Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. Which, do you know what that is, Jan? Does that sound familiar?
The combination of words feels like something I'd be into. Oh, wait a minute. Is this a chicken horse?
Yes. It's a follow-up to Ultimate Chicken Horse. The aptly named Ultimate Sheep Raccoon is coming to Switch and Switch 2 this holiday. It's a blink and it has a blink and you'll miss it trailer, but basically it just showed it off. Instead of just being a running platform, you're on bikes.
So it's a Trials?
Oh. It's a Trials, but Ultimate Chicken Horse. I'm so excited. It looks so good.
Oh, I am so in, Grubb.
Yeah, we're gonna play a ton of this, and honestly, we should go play some more Ultimate Chicken Horse to get ready for it. But yeah, they're saying holiday 2025. I think they might have said winter 2025, but 2025, so later this year. A couple more things. Glaciered was They said it's an action RPG where you play as a bird species that has evolved to go back into the water, and you're swimming under this glacier, and it's also RPG, so you're upgrading your character, and as you're doing your attacks, numbers are popping off. It looked really interesting. They also said it's like JRPG inspired in some ways, although we didn't quite see that. Either way, I thought the game looked very interesting. Feels like one of those ones that was trying to get out in the first year of the Switch 2 to get on to glom onto the excitement, and I think it might be able to do that. I'm looking forward to it. They finished the indie world with a sizzle reel of a bunch of other games. Noodle Cake and Pine Creek Games have a winter 2025 game called Winter Burrow, Undusted Letters from the Past. It's from Toei Productions and 5 Minute Labs. It's coming in October. Tiny Bookshop, which looked like a puzzle game where you get boxes of books and then you have to like place them on the shelf in a correct way to like maximize your bookstore value.
Oh boy.
Didn't quite understand it, but it looked good. I'm like, I want to figure this game out. Caves of Cud is coming to Switch this winter. That's from Kit Fox Games and Freehold Games. Strange Antiquities is from Iceberg Interactive and Bad Viking. It's coming out September 17th. Pre-orders are available now. Opus Prison Break is coming in the fall. Go-Go Town, which just looked like straight up Animal Crossing with more farming. That is from Cult Games, and Prideful Sloth is coming in the spring. And then UFO 50 is out later today on the Switch and
Whoa.
Switch 2. Yep. So it's happening. And that felt like, we had a couple that we were like, oh, UFO 50, Hades 2 maybe, and then of course Hollow Knight Silk Song. Those last two, which we were going back and forth. It's like they probably won't be there, but they could. Well, they weren't. UFO 50, however, was there, and it's out now, basically. Out
Hell
today.
yeah.
So, okay, people are saying, yes, it is already out. So there you can go. You can go out and get it. Jen, it was a decent Indie World showcase. Some games that I'm ready to go play as soon as they're available, for sure.
Yeah. Any other like highlights for you personally, Grubb?
I think for me, it was like hurdling was one that definitely stuck out. I'm like, I just like the idea of these mystical like beasts. They kind of look like woolly mammoths a little bit, but with the weird legs. I just like the idea of being a character that has to kind of maneuver yourself around to make sure these other creatures on the screen move in a certain way. I'm like, oh, that kind of has that. It's like human feng shui. Like I want to, make my energy move in a certain direction to get their energy to move in a certain direction.
What's the color of your energy?
Yes, it's amber.
Oh.
And then Little Kitty Big City update. I want to go back to that. I always enjoyed playing that with the kids. So
There's
cool to see that.
There's like a couple indie titles that I wish I personally got an update on. That I'm surprised didn't make it onto the Indie World showcase show. But hey, okay.
Yep. And then of course, Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. We will play the hell out of that when that's available. Okay, let's move along here. Red Octane Games is a new rhythm game developer working on something that isn't Guitar Hero, but sure sounds like it. This is from Ben Lyons at Game Reactor. The rhythm game scene has been quiet for years, largely as players have shifted away from owning and using physical peripherals that take these titles to the next level. It has been years since a Guitar Hero or Rock Band arrived, and we're desperate for more, which is what makes the founding of Red Octane Games all the more exciting. This is a developer that is made up of of several rhythm game veterans from the Guitar Hero franchise. The studio is being headed up by former Neversoft production director Simon Ebinger, while it's supported by Charles and Kai Huang, two of the original Guitar Hero founders.
Ooh.
Otherwise, we can expect a melting pot of developers that include exceptional new generation developers, creators, and community leaders from the global rhythm gaming scene, all while the studio takes a community built development approach as well. In terms of the game that Red Octane is making, they don't have anything to say yet. In an accompanying blog post, they said, "This game won't be Guitar Hero, DJ Hero, Guitar Freaks, or Rock Band. This is something new. A rhythm game built with love by people who care, with the community at its core in this fast changing modern world we all live in. We firmly believe that the expert here is the community and a new generation of development talent, the folks that have kept the lights on these last few years." So cool to hear that these people are back at it, going to
Yeah.
focus on rhythm games. What do you want from this right now? Because I'm like, it has been a minute. So if they just want to say, oh, it's not Guitar Hero, but it's Guitar Hero, I would probably be interested in that.
I, I'm trying to think, Grub, what kind of rhythm game do we get into if we are not getting a big honking chunk of plastic, just because of production costs of that and space issues with that. But maybe people want that again. Maybe
Yep.
people are totally into that. I was jokingly thinking of maracas, just
Sure.
because like maracas are fun and small. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind like a drum pad, and just like mashing away at one of those. That'd be cool. I think we need more rhythm games, Grub, and I do enjoy that it is not just seasoned veterans of the genre, but also they're bringing in newer talent, because rhythm games are still around. They're just mostly in the arcade scene these days.
Yeah. Yeah. At Awesome Games Done Quick, like we went to the arcade and played a bunch of those rhythm games that I had only seen in like Instagram Reels or whatever and TikTok, and being able to go in there and try that stuff out. It's like, oh yeah, this stuff rules. The big, spinny thing where you can move your hands
Oh
around.
yeah,
And,
the washing
kind of
machine looking one.
the
Yeah.
washing machine one. Yeah, that was great. And it's like, yeah, if they could take ideas like that, I do think there maybe should be bespoke controllers though.
Sure.
Maracas, whatever. Sambas, as I sometimes call them. Um, just give us something along those lines. Because I think that's one of the things about rhythm is you want to feel like you can do something with
Yeah.
your body,
Yeah.
and creating a bespoke controller for that helps facilitate those feelings. But I guess they don't necessarily have to do that. I I would like just a new DDR game with a new pad or something
Oh
like that. That
gosh.
would be cool as well. But we'll see. They're trying to get us the idea that they are going to have new ideas because they have these younger developers and they're letting the community drive the way. So maybe it'll be something we can't even predict, and I will welcome that. It's just cool to hear that they're getting back to rhythm games.
Give me Guitar Hero for the DS somehow again.
Yeah, bring that back.
That thing was
Yeah, a
so
little controller
cool.
for our phones. Yeah, I
Oh,
never actually played that. I should see if I could track that down. All right. Battlefield 6 open beta is off to a very hot start amid some server hiccups. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. Battlefield 6 open beta went live today, and it's putting up big numbers in its early access stage before the beta becomes more widely available this weekend and next. On Steam alone, the Battlefield 6 open beta reached more than 314,000 peak concurrent players. The open beta is also available on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, along with the EA app for PC. So the Steam numbers reflect just a portion of the beta's total audience. Given the huge amount of people trying to play PlayStation or the Battlefield 6's open beta, the servers are struggling somewhat. Some players have reported matchmaking issues, and the developers say players can restart the game client to help improve things. Battlefield 6's open beta is using server queues to help mitigate demand, with Battlefield Studios announcing it is working on a substantial increase in server capacity to help meet the demand. Open beta is our biggest validation yet. We want to see at grand scale how this holds up. We'll then assess the outcome and hear the feedback and iterate, as we always do and we have always been doing, producer David Serlin said. Players have also reported weapon balancing issues, with many saying shotguns are too powerful right now. But that's just a bunch of people whining. We'll see what actually happens with that game. Okay, early demand is there for sure. It does seem like that that weekend where they're like, here's the details about Battlefield 6. Here's a bunch of people playing it. did the trick and did get a lot of people excited. I want to play this.
Sure.
I want to get in there and check it out myself and see what all the hype's about. This is just nothing but good news, though, right?
Yeah, great news, Grubb. Unfortunately, Battlefield in the last couple of years has not been the most positive in any regard, whether it's single player or multiplayer or lack thereof of single player. But hey, great that they were getting this validation with the audience. I just hope that audience lightens up if Battlefield 6 has to introduce miscellaneous IP as skins, and that they're okay if it's not just generic John Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah. Thurgood Marshall on the battlefield. Everybody watch out. I think that even if they try to like keep it grounded, they are still going to want to bring in, and we're talking about the skin packs where they promised they would keep things grounded. Even if they do that, I think they're still going to want to use IP. So like military IP probably will pop up in there. Arnold Schwarzenegger, out in the jungle hunting down the predator. Yeah, he could show up. Yeah. It doesn't sound like the fans are even welcoming to that.
Would they be okay with, I don't know, Columbo?
Everyone's okay with Columbo. Columbo could show up, and they would be excited about that.
DICE, if you put a monk skin, a Tony Shalhoub monk skin in Battlefield 6, I will think about getting the game.
Put a Pikachu in there. I want to see Pikachu with a machine gun. That'd be great. Yeah, like I said, nothing but good news so far for the game. And honestly, having this many players and the servers being like, okay, we can't quite keep up with this. There was a time when Battlefield had like some of the worst online problems of any game ever. I think it was Battlefield 4. We don't like talk about this ever anymore, but Battlefield 4 for like a year straight was just unplayable online for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I covered that nonstop, like writing about it. And it took them forever to fix it. So it's like the fact that they're not anywhere near something like that, and obviously they've learned from those issues. It's like, okay, yeah, it just sounds like everything is working in Battlefield 6's favor. We'll see how this turns out. Okay, let's see here. We got a couple more stories here. Bikinis are good business for Street Fighter. This is from Chris Melchin. That's Dual Shockers.
Rob, all I'm hearing is that we have to now make a calendar, a bikini calendar for GB, and this is how
the GB bikini calendar.
The business doesn't need to be saved right now, at least, but this is how we save the business.
Sagat and the bikini pack launched at the same time, and the concurrent player count on Steam almost doubled in a 24-hour period, basically. And I'm sure Sagat helped, but I bet the tan lines on Cammy helped even more. People were very excited for this. Again, good business. DayZ passes 1 million players on PlayStation Plus day one. This is from Alex Coe at Dual Shockers. The game popped up on PlayStation Plus, and they said 1.3 million people downloaded it or activated it on their PlayStation Plus account in one day. And they said 300,000 people were already playing it on day one, like 300,000 new people from PlayStation. So I really do want to check back in on DayZ. Have you ever played that?
I want to say that I have. I think I've downloaded it at one point just because of morbid curiosity, but I've never been brave enough to check it out for an extended period of time. But I would check it out with us.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth it for us to like do a couple streams in there and see what it's like. That's one of those games where emergent storytelling can just be so much fun, and I want to see what antics we can get up to. Finally, the ROG Xbox Ally. We have the release date thanks to Bill Kuhn. As a reminder, Microsoft is under a BDS movement, potential boycott, and do with that what you will. They are responsible for death allegedly in Gaza. They are contributing to that and making money from it. So do with that information what you will. We are still going to cover the news here or there when we can. A few days ago, we revealed the opening date for pre-orders for the ROG Xbox Ally handheld consoles. Sales will begin on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025 on the sidelines of Gamescom 2025, which will be held in Cologne, Germany. We also confirmed the price, which will be €599 for the base model and €899 for the top of the line Xbox Ally X. So sales will begin August 20th, and the thing will be out in October. So let's see here. October 16th is the confirmed release date for the Xbox ROG Ally. This is going to be probably their big thing that they do have at Gamescom. I'm going to be interested to see how they come out and tell the story of why this thing's going to be worth around $1,000 US.
Oh boy, Grubb.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm just not interested in it really
No.
at any price, but especially at that price.
Yeah, I was entertaining the idea of a PlayStation Portal last night for no real good reason, and then I remembered how much they cost, and then I saw this news story and remembered it's the Xbox ROG Ally is going to cost like $1,000 plus. No, thank you, Grubb.
I'm sorry, I just saw the super chat from Tim Nicholas, one of our artist friends. Just give me a style. I got you on the calendar.
Oh,
all right,
Tim. What was that? What is that? Grubb, what was that video game magazine that had like
Ultra Game Players issue 111? I was just looking at this the other day. I did not realize that was the last issue of Ultra Game Players. The last issue of Ultra Game Players is their Bikini magazine issue, where they had characters from not even like B-level games, like C-level games dress up in bikinis. And then there was like Lara Croft and the girl from Pandemonium or whatever it was called. Yes, so let's do it in that style.
Was
there
it
you go.
PSM or was it Game Fan that had like a swimsuit issue?
No, Ultra Game Players had a swimsuit issue. You look it up. Ultra Game Players 111. Those other ones might have as well. PSM was also the same company, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had one as well. Yeah, people were saying PSM 100% did. It was the same creative team for both magazines. But the girl from Daikatana, I think it was the cover model for Ultra Game Players 111. Oh, there you go. So yeah, that's the style we wanted in. Just do me in the same pose that she's in on the cover.
Oh,
okay.
I am 100% thinking of PSM.
Yes. Okay.
Oh boy.
Let me do. I'm gonna Google PSM bikini issue. Take a look there. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Yes. Okay. God, it's the 2005 swimsuit special. Video games. Okay, that does it for the headlines. We got a poll question that we got to get to. Let's do that right now. I have the results of poll questions right over here on this tab from yesterday. Do you want a new Super Mario Brothers collection on Switch? That's a capital N. 49% said yes. 51% said no. Listen, these games get a lot of guff. I think, sure, that's maybe lower than some other collections would be, but that's still a lot of people being like, yeah, I want that. Those games would do just fine on the Switch if they put them into a collection. That's based on the rumor from yesterday that for Mario's 40th anniversary, Nintendo's going to gather up the new Super Mario Brothers games that are not already on the Switch and put them into a new collection, which I would welcome. That'd be fine. All right, we have a new poll question that we should just get to right now. Have you ever played DayZ? I asked Jan that. Now I'm asking you, yes or no. Tell us, have you played DayZ? Very curious about that. We'll get the results of that. Talk about it on Game Mess Mornings here on Giant Bomb tomorrow to end out the week. Like trying to keep the days. It is Thursday and tomorrow's Friday.
Shouldn't tomorrow be the Bomb 12?
So this is the way we do it. Yes, I've been working this out, Jan. We'll wrap up the poll question for Thursday on that show. We won't ask a new poll question. So there won't be a poll question to get to on Monday. And then the last thing we do on Game S Mornings on Friday is the Bomb 12. So that's the way this is going to work.
Copy.
All right. Yeah, I think that means we got to talk about what's happening on Giant Bomb. I'm going to bring up the calendar, Jan. But oh wait, that's a different calendar. What else do we have happening? Oh, we got the voicemail dump truck not too long from now, right?
Yes, voicemail. A lot of moving around and shaking of the schedule this week, folks. Voicemail dump truck is popping off in 30 minutes. Oh, I gotta go collect calls. But also later today, we are hopefully wrapping up Pimp My Reichert.
We definitely are. He has to. He's got to stop. Although maybe he shouldn't, because then my game is up next. Apparently, Steph saw the costume and she told me that I should have saw it because apparently I brought it into the house and it wasn't in a box. But I just she gets a lot of packages. She a lot of things delivered. She gets some deals and stuff like that. Often she gets gifts for the kids that we're going to give them at Christmas, and we hold on to them because she finds a good deal on them, and we kind of just set them aside. She saves us a lot of money. It's great. So I don't even like pay attention now to the stuff that's coming. I just bring them in, put them in a pile, and set them down. And she's like, "You must have assumed it was something for me." I'm like, "I don't even remember anything about any of the packages." So apparently I've seen it. She's laughing at it again. And then Mike also pointed out that I'm not going to look cool. So, yeah, Dan got to look cool. Mike got to look cool. Have you seen the costume?
I've seen what I think they're sending you. Grubb, I think it's impossible for you to not look cool.
Okay.
If anything,
we'll
I'm
see.
looking forward to the to Jerem updating the lineup of everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Fair enough. All right. Super chat here from Grant NP says, "Look at that first page of that Ultra Game Players 111. We'll do that on our own time. Everyone, go do that right now. Go Google Ultra Game Players 111. I think it's on archive.org if you can't find it on on the Video Game History Foundation's archive." All right, Jan, we talked about the schedule. Tomorrow we'll be back. We'll be back with UPF, where we're going to play Sunderfolk. I might try to play some Mafia as well before Sunderfolk. Maybe just play that for an hour or so.
Maybe in my own time or on this website, I'm gonna go play the new season of Fortnite, Grubb.
It did like update today, right? Power Rangers are in there.
Yeah.
And if you want to get in there, you're gonna get the battle pass to make sure you can unlock all the Power Ranger stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, you put it on your Switch too. Play it in your free time. Work on it that way.
I just don't like playing shooters that aren't Splatoon on a Switch.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. Try they probably have the motion controls in there. Try that. Try Splatoon controls. All right. Plenty more happening on Giant Bomb.
I'm sorry to ruin the outro, but someone had added me on Blue Sky saying that the Dragon Dagger emote is indeed there.
All right. Well, we got to let Jan get to it right away, everybody. So let's wrap the show up. We did the poll question. We did everything else. So, Jan, I'm going to say thank you so much for talking with me about video games, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching and listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.